And we're starting with this video I prepared. The next Chancellor of Germany wants to confront Trump. Will Friedrich Merz actually be a good Chancellor? We will figure that out. Let's go right in.
The great bastion of stability and driver of prosperity throughout Europe is broken, and I'm not exaggerating. Its economic model is in trouble. Crime and integration problems for millions of immigrants have skyrocketed. The political framework is more fragmented and polarized than ever.
Next election, AfD majority, you think? I don't know. A lot of the future of Germany now depends on Friedrich Merz, if he's just a boomer that doesn't do, or if he actually gets something done. That's what we need to see. I think what the people want, I think what the people really, really need and want right now is stability. They just want to feel stable. They just want to feel that Germany is on a good path and we're not falling apart. And you can't even fake that feeling as a chancellor, but he has to try, man.
The arrival of the Trump administration has completely turned everything upside down, to the point that the future chancellor has been very clear. Europe has to prepare for a break with the United States.
True. Trump will do a speech in 3 hours.
Visual politic community. The elections in Germany have just been held. They were elections with the highest level of participation since 1987. And to tell the truth, there
Wait. I believe chat is based on how the streamer treats them. I would never type the shit I type here in a co-carnage chat. Whoa, what? Even Lisa's laughing. Bro, what the fuck? That kind of hurt me on a very deep level. You just kind of hit me on a deep level, buddy. Random non-sub. Just...
You get what you deserve.
You get what you deserve? Jesus Christ, what's with everybody?
Well, that's what he said.
Jesus Christ. Whoa. Anyway.
Surprises. Basically, what was expected to happen has happened,
mic's kinda
with
shit,
some
isn't it?
nuances. On the one hand, the CDU, Germany's historic centre-right party, has won the elections, albeit with slightly less support than expected. But it doesn't matter, because this man you see on the screen, Friedrich Merz, will probably become the new Chancellor of Germany. We will tell you more about him later. On the other hand, we have the real winners of these elections, or at least, how should I put it, the emotional winners of the elections. And who are these emotional winners?
AfD.
Well, we're talking about two political formations, each of them
Left and
located
AfD.
at either end of the political spectrum. First,
The
alternative
great
for
lady
Germany.
that really wants to help Germany while she's paying taxes in Switzerland, man. You cannot make this up.
Yes,
Can
this
make it
time
up.
the forecasts came true. The AfD have taken just over 20% of the vote, doubling its 2021 results and becoming the country's second largest political force. And we're talking about a political formation that has become increasingly
Who's that hot lady?
radicalized.
Look, man. Never fall for Nazi tits, my friend, okay? They might jiggle in your face, man, but the moment they're done with you, man, they're like, so you want to build a camp somewhere? Never glaze Nazi tits, man. Don't do it. Thank you, Zach Motor. Thank you.
Then in second place, as emotional winners of the election day, we also have the hard left of Die Linke, a formation that has spent the campaign launching messages like these.
Don't give up, resist fascism, occupy the barricades.
By the way, this lady's nickname is nothing less than the Queen of TikTok. Well, the fact is that in these elections, this formation...
She's doing a great
was one
job
of
right now. She's gathering a lot of young people behind her. And I like her a bit. You should always be careful with this Antifa rhetoric of, like, destroying people's cars and shit in the streets. That's a little bit,
About 4 million votes. This means
But
that
this is my opinion. The last party in all of Germany that wants to challenge the status quo of rich versus poor. Didn't I saved a video about, yeah, I wanna...
is now claiming that Elon
We have a lot of videos today. We have a lot of stuff. I actually prepare these political streams now. I like prepare videos and shit.
this political formation has gone from being a party on the verge of extinction to being at the heart of German politics.
I have always believed that we on the left would rise up again, but more than 8% is unimaginably big.
And you know what? This vertical rise of two parties, so slanted to the extremes on each side of the spectrum, has had a lot to do with it. Exactly. The young people have turned to them. They have voted for them massively. These two political formations have
I
been
talked
the
to someone
overwhelming
yesterday.
choice.
Who was that? Was that on stream or in real life? Ah, in real life. I was talking to my MMA trainer and we talked about politics and stuff, and he made a good point that I was totally forgetting. Young people grow out of it. You guys remember when you were 18, man? You were just a fucking maniac, right? Being a weirdo in Hoi 4, trying to stream snipe TommyKay and having Nazi profile pictures. But then once you're 22, 23, you kind of change a bit. You get your dick sucked for the first time and you kind of wake up to real life, right? And that's a thing you should think about. When we talk about young people, 16 to 24, yeah, are AfD or Linke, you have to always be... Part of that statistic should also be there. They could grow out of it, you know? Thank you, Don Stefan. It's like me. You get a family, you have to pay tax, and you realize taxes are the biggest enemy of the world, man. Taxes are the true enemy. No refugees, no fucking Elon. Taxes are the one true enemy.
Among those under
That's what happens when you're about 28
age.
years old.
And take note, because if we add BSW, a Stalinist-style party, then the result is that more than 50...
Imagine this 20 years ago. The right-wing fascists have 20%, the left has 8.5%, and a Stalinistic Putin party almost at 5%. Imagine that 20 fucking years ago.
% of the votes of the youngest have gone
Then
to
it's
these
just normal
three
now.
radical formations. So what does this mean? Probably that social media has completely changed the way politics is done. For example, Die Linke's speeches
And this is why people like Elon Musk want to own social media.
become
Because of free
tremendously
speech,
popular
obviously.
on platforms
Yeah,
such as
yeah.
TikTok. And what is the problem with that? Well, the result of this new way of doing politics tends to be a vote much
How far
more
left is Die Linke? We could look into deeper stuff, what they really stand for, but Die Linke has a lot of issues, like I think they're not very pro-Ukraine. Also, this whole Antifa shit is just ridiculous. Like, that is the most ridiculous shit in the world, man, when they burn private property of other people, man. It's just insanity. But I think what they mostly stand for is of a different model of how to say in English, changing where capitalists take it away from the top 1% and give it back to the others. I think it's not correct, Lovelocks. I've been watching something on that, to act like they are still the SED, the Communist Party of East Germany. I think there's no connections anymore other than historically. They are really something else now, I think, if you look into that. And yeah, we could look deeper into Die Linke, but I don't think you guys are that interesting. They're pro-Ukraine, just not pro-prolonging the war of weapons. Instead, they're looking for a diplomatic resolution through China. Oh, okay. I gotta look deeper into that stuff. But I don't know if you guys are that interested, checking out the left-wing party of Germany. But they have a big future.
to the
They're not pro-Putin, I don't think so. No, they're very anti-fascist, and the number one fascist on earth right now is obviously Vladimir
extreme
Putin.
parties. And you know who's been working the social media platforms to the hilt for years? Exactly, Putin's Russia. But we'll talk about that another
Social
day.
media
On
is
top of that,
such
the
a
rise
big thing
of
now.
the AFD, as we told you in our last video.
I gotta start uploading shorts. You guys remember last week I had this stream where I'm like, guys, I'm editing shorts now. I even bought like the pro editing software. I'm always forgetting that. We gotta, like tomorrow, we gotta actually make a short. I will do my first short. It was the best stream ever. It got no views, but I gotta make shorts. It was a clip. Tomorrow, man, we're opening up the stream with making my first ever short. Spade helped me with that a bit. I don't know if he's watching right now. Tomorrow, we're gonna edit more shorts.
Has a lot to do with an unresolved rift between the two Germanys, with the former GDR territories being...
So, if Putin is fascist because he wants to invade, was the USSR actually fascist taking over all of Eastern Europe? That's a very, very whataboutism question. First of all, no one can deny anymore that Vladimir Putin's Russia is fascist, legit fascist. And yeah, you could say that you have to always think about how communism and fascism are very, very close. I actually just Googled 2 weeks ago, what even is the difference between communism and fascism? Because I didn't know, I gotta be honest. And they're mostly the same, dictatorial, right? No opposition, imperialist, always attacking people. The big difference is, what do you guys think? I had to actually Google it, I gotta be honest. What's the main difference of communism and fascism, chat? They are very similar, yeah. The worst take you've ever had, Russia is not fascist. I'm very sad that we still have to start at these low levels here, my dear Piscott Dixel. Let's take a look at the different definition of fascism again, like we do all the time. Let's see if Russia is fascist at the moment under Vladimir Putin. Okay, a dictatorial leader. Let's take a little look. I'm doing this for you, Piscott Dixel, just for you, yeah? Fascist, yes or no? Okay, let's take a little look. Dictatorial leader. What do you think, Pixel? What do you think, Schnixel? Centralized autocracy. Militarism. Forced suppression of opposition, even killing them. Belief in natural social hierarchy of the oligarchs or the bosses and they decide everything. Subordination of individual interests or perceived good of the nation. Yeah. A strong regimentation of society and the economy. What do you think, Piscott? What do you think? What do you think, man? What do you think? What do you think? Come on, if we still have to go there, come on. By these rules, Ukraine is fascist too. Alter, you are insane, buddy. You are insane, dude. That is insanity, dude. You're generally trying to rage bait, or you're generally retarded, man. dictatorial leader. They have free elections. Volodymyr Zelensky has no elections right now because they're in a state of war. Most nations in the world, even the United States of America, have laws that during real war there is no elections for stability. A great argument even Zelensky brought up is that, listen, yeah, you guys, man, yes, is that obviously no one can deny that Russia is massively influencing politics all across Europe, so elections could be very, very devastating. Look at Germany, where 24% of people voted for Vladimir Putin as parties, man. That we even have to do this right now is insanity. And the Ukrainian opposition even agreed on him staying, man. Even agreed on him. Forceful oppression of opposition. Opposition is still free. They still have parliament meetings. They still have votes and talks in parliament. Also, that we even have to go here is insanity. Insanity, man. And that is just insanity. And if you're ticking yes? Oh shit, I was ticking yes. Anyway, back to topic. I think something I need to do more in these politics streams is I need to stop reacting to idiots. There's like 500 viewers, they're all normal. Then there's one crazy person. I always react to them. What's the difference between communism and fascism? What did you guys say? Sorry. I was ADHDing. It's about the property, exactly. It's about where fascism is about private property. You have the oligarchy, hey, Rheinmetall and Krupp are owning everything. Whereas with communism, it's all state property. The state owns everything. You don't have these industrial conglomerates. But communism, fascism is very, very close, man. And I often feel like in a discussion like this, like you started, Canned Noodle, it doesn't matter if we put a label communist or fascist on someone. If they're straight up bad people that all fill all these definitions, then who cares what they're labeled as? They're still an enemy of mankind.
Socially and politically further and further away from West Germany. Here the numbers leave no room for doubt. We're practically talking about two completely different countries. Well, in any case, before moving on...
But Piscotic, that was insanity, man. That was insane. You fucking hell, buddy. You need to, Jesus, read a book. That was fucked up.
On to what's really important.
Jesus Christ.
We can say that the results in Germany can be summarized as follows.
I'm making a point that communist parties being Antifa is ironic and hypocritical. This is a very deep thing where you're going here. Obviously, and I think everyone that can count to 10 agrees with this, that Antifa itself could be considered really anarchist, I would say. I mean, again, why do we have to put a label on this, what Antifa really is? Fact is, man, running around the streets and burning fucking private people's cars isn't very helpful to democracy, right? That's just a big point, man, right? Of what the left is doing. Like, in its core, the left has great points. Hey, the rich are, like, not good, and we should stop fascism, which is in itself a good point. But the left always fucks itself. And how many normal people, like a normal old dude, is like, bro, I'm never voting for Die Linke because I saw what they're doing, throwing rocks and shit like that. Yeah, Piscotic, so you're fucked. That was fucked up, buddy. Fucked up.
The CDU has won, but has not gained enough support to remain the single governing party.
Dude, these politics streams get crazy views. I already have 712. People love this. And people love the talking. Chat is super active. You guys love this. We always say we hate politics streams, but you guys love that shit. By the way, shout out to SSW. You know what that means, chat? In North Germany, let me try to explain this. In North Germany, there's an area where a lot of Danish people live, and they always vote for a Danish man. So there's the German parliament, and every year there's a guy from, this is some Danish party. This is some Danish shit, and he wins every time, and he represents the Danish needs in North Germany, of the Danish population there. He always wins. He's always in there, man. And he's Danish. I think that's a beautiful thing, though. I think that's cool. That's cool. What even is his name?
I have to find a partner
that guy's making a lot of money.
AfD continues to gain support like crazy. Olaf Scholz's Social Democrats have collapsed. Die Linke's hard left have pulled off a surprise by bursting out...
It's in the constitution he's in there. Can you send me a link about that? What do you mean? It's in the constitution that he always wins. Can you send me that?
Have a nice stream.
Thank you, Hinty.
among younger
He's
voters.
the
And
CEO
the
of
Greens
Legoland.
are still there, but this time they won't make much of a difference. They're no longer needed. In short, Germany will continue to have a highly fragmented parliament, but this time it would also be much more skewed towards the
Danish guy has
extremes.
more seats
and
than
that's
the
why
FDP.
it's most likely that the new government to be formed will emerge from a large coalition agreement between the CDU and the Social Democrats, but we'll talk about that later.
So you joined today's game or what? You never join games anymore.
Visual politic community, these were the results. This is basically the most straightforward part
They don't
of
need
this
5%,
video.
they're just gonna see it. But can you send me the law or something? I'm interested. This election also elected people for European Parliament? I don't think so, no. That's in 2 years. I don't think so. The party of the Danish minority in Schleswig-Holstein doesn't need 5%. This is because in the constitution, no, in a law, there's a law that says if you're a national minority, you get a seat. Then why do gingers not get a seat? Wouldn't that mean that Syrian refugees should get a seat? They're a bigger minority than Danish people, but they don't have the law. It's a law out of the Constitution, Article 6, number 3 in the Bundeswahlgesetz. Interesting. Do you think there should be a Turkish party? It's interesting, Turkey had its own team in the 3rd Bundesliga. Aren't they still in, Germans? This is true globalism. I think this is not a bad thing. Dritte Bundesliga. I think they already got destroyed and they're out. Let me see if they're still in. Chat, do you know if they're still in? They're gone? Oh, they're gone. 1 or 2 years ago, there was a full Turkish team in here. Like, they were banned? Whoa, they got banned? Why? What the fuck did they do? Mafia shit? Laundering money? Thank you, Forza. They got banned? There was a real Turkish team. Turkish owners, Turkish players, everything. What the fuck? Anyway, I'm jumping around a lot, dude.
It's time to analyze the
It was about people beating up fans, buddy. They all beat up fans. Everyone does that.
consequences of an election that may define not only the future of Germany, but of Europe as a whole. And pay attention because it seems that there may be some bends ahead. Check out these statements by the man who's going to be the new Chancellor of Germany.
They're now in the 4th Liga.
I'm in
Okay.
close contact with many.
They got banned because no ethnic Germans. That is bullshit. You're lying. Yeah, the first immigrant football club. Full Turkish. But they got fucked off for some reason. I'm not going to read all this, but they're like gone for some reason. I don't know.
EU prime ministers and heads of state, and for me, it is an absolute priority to
Good thing to
strengthen
say.
Europe as quickly as possible so that we achieve independence from the USA.
He's saying the right things, man. And I don't want to always be so negative that whoever wins the election, we're always negative. Oh, he's going to change nothing. We got to have a bit of hope. At least we still have democracy and we don't have fucking Trump and Putin shit going on, man. At least we still have votes like this. And we should be proud of that.
Now, what is going to happen to
Let's see what
Germany,
he does.
and how on earth did we get here? Well, that's what we're going to look at next.
Hope is cool.
German foundations collapse.
The first thing that we need to know is how the hell we got here. Why
would you form a coalition with the party that failed the previous government? Because in democracy, you need a thing called a majority of 51%. So if the SPD still got enough votes representing what like 50% of the people, they still have a right to govern. Just because you lost 10% of the votes doesn't mean you shouldn't govern. You still got 15% of the votes. You're still representing people. Thank you, Yasaf.
Germans seem to be increasingly throwing
16%.
themselves into the arms of political forces that are
The
deeply
fuck are they doing?
biased towards the extremes. Well, you see, this has a lot to do with what Robin Winkler said not long ago. The chief economist of Deutsche Bank in Germany described the current situation in Germany as nothing less than the most pronounced crisis.
It's a very complex topic, what's happening to Germany, but Germany has always been a big exporter. We always exported. But we're getting into a time where people don't want our shit anymore because we're behind. I was reading an article about cars where China doesn't need our cars anymore. They're building their own cars now, right? We have Trump now who's like, fuck that shit, right? And a country that's very, very about export is having problems now. And Germany has to rethink itself. But the problem is Germany is very slow, like the imperium of mankind, dude.
Since the post-war period, the economy is not growing. Just look at this graph. In it, we can...
Would you want the 35,000 US troops in Germany to leave? I will not think so. I think no. I think the number one goal should be, if I was the president of Germany, this is what I will try to do rhetorically, but it's impossible with Trump. We need to stay the fuck together. North America and Europe has to stay together. We did since the ending of World War II. We have to come together and be fucking friends. And it's fucking ridiculous that Trump has certain points, 100%. Like, hey, Spend 2% on your NATO budget, 100%. But what he's doing of ripping apart this relationship is insanity, man. It's insane. Totally insane.
You can see how the German economic engine has completely seized up. Factories are now closing, and industrial production has plummeted by almost 20%.
It's a problem. Germany's all about cars, but no one wants these cars anymore.
Since 2017, major domestic manufacturers such as the Volkswagen Group are mired in an unprecedented crisis. And that's not all.
Now he wants 5. Yeah, he wanted 2, now it's 5, which is kind of crazy. Trump has, dude, that's life, right? Everyone has good points and bad points, and even Trump has certain points, obviously.
Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the closure of nuclear plants decreed by Angela Merkel, the price of energy has more than tripled. The large migration waves also from the Merkel era have resulted in much higher crime rates. And to top it all off, German infrastructure is falling apart. And we're not just talking about roads, ports and airports, we're also talking about other types of infrastructure that in today's world can also be absolutely critical. Do you want
a concrete example? Loyal to German cars? German cars are not bad, it's
Spain,
just
90%
Asia doesn't need them
internet
anymore.
Connections are made with fiber cable.
And Germany is sleeping. This is a great argument why, for example, I'm a green guy. I like green stuff. If you want to sell cars in the next 50 years, you need electric cars. I read an article about this. German car manufacturers are very behind.
Just wanted to say thanks for all the laugh. Your energy and sense of humor never fail to brighten my day. Keep being awesome. Keep the good vibes rolling. Much love.
Thank you so much, Altonio, for the 1,000 bits, man. Mwah, I kissed you on the forehead, and now I forgot my point. Yeah, the German car manufacturers are very behind with developing electric cars. If you want an electric car, man, you know, you don't need to buy it in Germany. There's this Chinese manufacturer that really takes over the electric car market in China. And a big problem Germany has is Germany is good at what it does, but it never changes. We always do the same, right? This is our line, but we're now reaching a new world where, oh man, selling these gasoline cars is slowly not going well anymore, and Germany needs to fucking figure out a new way. This is why I'm so green and like to vote Green Party, because I think what Germany could be an expert in and an idol worldwide is green energy, green and development, green technology. What else we're gonna do? What are we gonna sell? We're gonna keep selling these fucking gasoline cars, man, that nobody wants anymore? What the fuck are we gonna fucking sell, dude? You know, we need to be good at one thing. This is why I'm a bit of a green guy. Thank you, Jappel.
In Germany, this percentage is only 11%.
Why do you not vote green then? I explained why. I explained that many times.
In other words, it seems to be all bad news in Germany.
The Greens will not govern
with taxes,
CDU. It will be black and red.
Regulations, bad energy decisions with the closure of nuclear plants, along with cotton candy policies from Brussels, are sweeping them away. And logically, to a large extent, all of this explains the results we've seen in these latest elections. That is exactly how we got here. By the way, in several videos over on Visual Economic, we have told you many more details about the collapse that Germany's suffering. So, if you want to know more, just stop by. But having said that, the question is, what?
I'm an engineer at BMW and we focus hard on electric cars now. But wouldn't you argue, that's what I read in an article, that you're a bit behind? If you look, for example, at the rise of Tesla and that company in China.
Next, who is Friedrich Merz? And what exactly does he stand for? Well, let's take a look.
Do you support the petition to keep Habeck? Yes, I didn't sign it. Just for context, we're jumping around a lot. There's now a petition in Germany that already has 100,000 signatures that they don't want Robert Habeck to step down, which I fully agree with, man. And this is something, it has 200K now. Damn, shit. I generally thought of texting him on Instagram, being like, buddy, you shouldn't step down. I actually thought about that, but why would he care? And dude, my point is, and my dear German viewers, you have to agree with this. You have to agree with this. Whatever you think about Habeck, and much you hate him, you cannot deny the guy was eloquent. He always fucking faced critique. He always talked about everything. He never was shying away. When the farmers were stopping his ship, he was like, let me out, I will talk to them. Come on, man, that is, at least he's fucking talking. And losing him would be a massive hit to democracy, in my opinion. That guy should not step down. He needs to just wait for another natural disaster. Then they have 20% easy.
Are there curves ahead?
The new government is not going to have it easy. It will have to deal with the economic crisis, with the need to rebuild its armed forces, with Donald Trump's constant prodding, with the threat of Vladimir Putin, and with the peace negotiations in Ukraine. At the head of this government will almost certainly be CDU leader Friedrich Merz, a politician with deep pockets, thanks
History
to
is
his
now
work
going to look at him. Again, this is a very important point in Germany's history, in my opinion. This guy either surprises everyone, 20% chance, or 80% chance is just basic fucking nothing, like always.
Fund manager
Thank you,
Rock, and who is popularly known as the anti-Merkel. Not only because he doesn't seem to get along at all with her, but also because he holds very different positions in absolutely crucial areas. For example, Merz has tough positions on immigration. He more or less defends nuclear energy, tax cuts, and even seems to support ending the limit on public debt established in the country's
just
own
sounds good
constitution.
right now,
In other words,
to be honest.
Potential anti-Merkel coming from the same party. A guy who has acknowledged having none other than Ronald Reagan as one of his great political role models. Nevertheless, this is probably his most important challenge.
Germany's election winner,
Tax cut for the rich are bad ideas? I don't think so. I like it. I like it, man. I like it.
pledges independence from US. I wouldn't have thought I'd have to say something like that, but after Donald Trump's statements, it is clear that the Americans, at least this American government, are largely indifferent to the fate of Europe.
And take note because the almost certain next German Chancellor has said that he's not even sure that NATO has a future.
Yeah.
Visual politic community. At this time, the Germans, at least the German politicians of the long-standing parties, have seen the writing on the wall. On the one hand, they know that the severing of trade ties with the United States could provoke an economic earthquake in the country. Until now, they thought they could handle it, but now they're not at all sure they can. So they need to find a new path, and they need it urgently. On the other hand, and as
And that's what I'm afraid of. It's, in my experience about Germany, every time Germany has to change, it's a very long process. Very slow and
German
long,
politicians have
like
also
going
realized
through the
something
mud.
else. A large-scale hybrid or conventional warfare attack by Russia against EU territory without US protection could be devastating.
Which I don't... Look, I'm not a fucking war expert, but I never understand this. Russia can barely beat the second poorest country in Europe, man. Barely do anything there, and we're so fucking afraid of Russia. I don't fucking get that. If I was a German chancellor, I would start having a rhetoric of strength and stop being such a bitch, man. I will fucking stand up a bit and be like, dude, let's fucking work. Yeah, it's second poorest in GDP. Moldova number one, and then I think, yeah, it took us 20 years to brainwash Germans. Yeah, it's like, dude, Jesus, show some fucking balls. Let's get this culture and rhetoric going of, we can defend democracy. Stop bitching so much.
For the continent. In some parts of Europe, such as Spain or Italy, this scenario may seem far-fetched, but the truth is that the closer you get to the border with Russia, Europeans are becoming
Rhetoric of strength is Nazi? What a terrible comment. Rhetoric of strength is Nazi. That was a fucking terrible comment. What the hell?
less and less trusting. And that's why Friedrich Merz is basically saying that now is the time to take the bull by the horns. Either you act quickly, or you run the risk that the economic and political crisis will spread, and in the end, the whole of Europe will fall under the control of
people
radical
walking along a
parties
wall?
with one common characteristic: their sympathy with the Kremlin. So, what we can now expect from their government seems to fall into roughly 3 case scenarios. First, more leadership in Europe, something that Scholz has lacked in recent years. Second, more military spending to start rebuilding the German armed forces once and for all. And third, a totally new economic policy, with more government spending and probably lower taxes. This is basically
This all sounds good, but will it really happen?
what the new Chancellor has promised, and what we could expect if he keeps his word.
I know the scale of the challenge ahead. I approach this.
I also don't agree with that. If you had to pick a country in Europe to fight Russia, Ukraine would be the best. Here's something I have a hard time with believing what you guys are saying. When Russia invaded Ukraine, it was a blitzkrieg. They drove in like crazy, but Ukraine quickly, and Ukraine was prepared, they knew what was coming, and Donbass and stuff, they quickly could turn it around. I often don't believe, and I might be very wrong what I'm saying now. Imagine Russia would have not walked into Ukraine, but would have walked into Poland and the Baltics. I think it is ridiculous to think they would have walked over Europe easily. Like imagine Europe without the USA. We would have mustered defense, we would have gathered stuff, we would have been in shambles for some months, but would have organized and hold them. I don't believe that shit so much, like, oh, Russia will beat Germany instantly. I don't think so. I don't think so. They couldn't take Ukraine, which has like a 2% spending of NATO. I think we're never believing enough in ourselves. Poland, Baltics, Germany, the Czechs. I think we're much stronger than you think. if it comes to all-out fucking conflict, man, you know?
with the utmost respect, and I know that it will not be easy.
The fact that Friedrich Merz himself comes from the private sector and the productive economy is good news. Even so, Houston, we have a problem. We're talking about Germany, the CDU, and that they're going to need the votes of the Social Democrats. And why do I say that all this is a problem? Well, basically because it was the CDU that created all the problems now facing Germany, a country that has been known for...
Which is why I never understand why it can be pro-Merkel, like Lisa's dad. She brought all this upon us. Like, that's a fact. 16 years. Made us addicted to Russian gas, refugee crisis, turning off nuclear power plants. She did that. She did that, but all the Germans, under her, it was at least stable. Was it? Or are you just stupid? This was the problem all along.
For decades for its immobility, and because the Social Democrats will almost certainly act as a brake on many of the announced changes. What's more, the party is against continuing to actively support Ukraine. AfD...
I don't trust these people voting, counting votes. I don't know. This is like random people. This guy's like a bus driver, and he decides to count the vote. I don't trust this. I want AI on this.
And Die Linke have gained a lot of seats in parliament, a sufficient number to establish a blocking minority. We'll see what happens, but that's going to be another headache for sure. So, between the Social Democrats, lukewarm CDU, and the political stalemate, maybe things won't change that much. But even if
that's what I fear, it's just gonna be nothing.
Don't change that much, it seems clear that Germany's political course will change, and with it, probably that of the entire European Union. Our perception? Well, in principle, we think that this election, regardless of whether it will promote a more or less watered-down government, must be good news for a European Union that urgently needs to find a new political and economic direction. This new Chancellor may be that opportunity. So, from that point of view at least, we think Europe is slightly better off today than it was last week. That, my friends, is our take on these election
100%.
results. Things won't change much,
His wife
but
didn't
what
vote
will
for him.
change is
Nah, she's very loyal. She always protects him. There's like funny videos in Germany where a reporter tries to go to Friedrich Merz and ask a weird question, and his wife always goes, go away or I will kill you. She always like protects him.
Will this be an opportunity to start building a new Europe? Will the election of Friedrich Merz put a brake on Vladimir Putin's expansionist aspirations? Will the Germans be determined once and for all to plunge into a new era of military reconstruction, energy independence, and support for Ukraine? Well, only time will tell. The problem? Germany has not exactly been a country famous in recent years for being able to show leadership and deal with problems. But anyway, we'll see if...
It's what I always say, man. Something that I would like to see in my lifetime is a charismatic pro-democratic Trump. A charismatic leader that isn't for his oligarchic rich friends, but a charismatic leader that's very pro-EU, pro-democracy, and anti-Putin. Problem is, that guy is probably gonna... Oh, he killed himself, guys. Oh, he had a car crash. His plane dropped.
She slipped through my fingers like sand. Heard that she had a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad. Oh well, shit sail. She slipped through my fingers like sand.